All right, I just started the recording, so welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, if you can join us on the near pod so you can get some participation points there. Welcome back. It's been a couple weeks. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving break, had some time that you could just relax, recoup, all that kind of stuff. But now we're back in it. So we got about 3 weeks before winter break. And then after that, it's just kind of finishing up the course because this is only a block course. So all the content and everything will be done prior to going on winter break. So it should give you some time to catch up if you're a little bit behind. But hopefully everybody's caught up right now and good to go. So I'm going to go and share my screen. Said, what happens if you are done with everything? That's fantastic. Whatever grade you have, then you're done. I haven't zeroed out everything, but if you've gone through all 15 lessons and completed about all 40 quizzes, then that's what your grade's going to be for the block. So congrats there. So any questions on that? Awesome, you're good. All right, so let me share my screen real quick with you. All right, and I pulled up the near pod right here. So what we're going to go over today, we're going to be going over insurance and risk management, and hopefully this is still up here. And just so you know, like if you pop into the course, right, and you go to the course plan, what that's going to do is show you where you should be at. And today's the last day of November, but you should be done with modules 9 and 10 after this, okay, by the end of this week, okay? So if you haven't done modules 9 and 10, make sure you get those done. And that's part of what it's going to be on is insurance and what we call risk management here, okay? All right, just so you remember, this is going to be recorded for those that aren't here. So anything you kind of said will, be recorded, and just want to give you a heads up there. And then also, as always, our classroom expectations. Make sure you're following along with the teacher. Raise your hand if you want me to check the chat or want to speak or something like that. Respond to the questions the first time. So that kind of goes a little bit more on, near pod, putting things together. Use the away button. There's not really an away button, but if you can just kind of tell me through private chat or whatever that, hey, I'll be gone. So I just know that you're not just skipping out. And then also use the chat appropriately if you would. That'd be great. Okay, so what is risk management? Okay, so risk management in exchange for a relatively small payment. So it's basically insurance, right? Which is called a premium. You're protected against big financial setbacks or losses. Okay, so there's all kinds of different insurance that you've probably heard about there. You got all those commercials, Geico, Progressive, Allstate, State Farm. Oh, so many companies, right? But they're all to help you manage your risk, right? So you just wonder why would you need insurance? Okay, so let's watch this little video, and this will tell us a little bit of the why. All right. So that video just kind of tells us a little bit of why, right? Um, why we need to limit our risk and why we kind of need insurance. So here's a little statement that I want you to go and try to fill in the blank with real quick. Okay. So I'll give you a little bit of second to do that. It says the number of insurance claims for blank accidents, okay, involving teens is blank percent higher than those for blank. Blank crash rates drop by blank 6 months after getting their blank. Okay. So why don't you take a little bit and then we'll fill in the blank there. And then we can kind of discuss that topic. Okay, so the first one here, what do you guys think it is? For what kind of accidents? Auto, very good. Okay. So for auto accidents involving teens is how much percent higher do you think? 100%. Yep. So it's actually 100% higher than those of adults. And this is why, just so you know, this is why auto insurance is so expensive for teens here. Okay. All right. And then we're going to go what? Teen crashes drop by 40% 6 months after they're getting their license. That's why there's the law in Utah that you have to hold your you can't drive with only you can only drive with immediate family until 6 months after you get your license, is because that crash drops. I actually got in an accident with a teenager, had his license for one day and had his friend sitting in the front seat, turned right in front of me making a left as I was going straight. So um, that goes on there. Okay, got 6 out of 6 on that. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, okay, so think about that real quick. You guys are about that age. Maybe some of you have your license. Maybe you're thinking about getting your license. You're in the process. Could you afford to pay for the damage if you caused a car wreck? Okay, no. And I want you to put on there why, too. Why couldn't you pay for it? No, you're broke. Okay. No, because I don't have a job right now. Very good. Yep. No. Now, what if you were to severely injure somebody, right? And it's your fault. Does that go on you to pay for it? Yeah, it does. It goes on you to pay for it and to take care of theirs. It's called liability insurance, and that's why they this they require you to have it when you start driving, and why it's so important. And then just think of damages. My wife backed in one time to my niece's car as she was backing up, hit the car, just bumped, hit the front fender. They had to replace the front fender, repainting, that kind of stuff. $1,500 to fix it. So, because we had insurance, we were okay, right? We didn't have to worry about it too much. But just little things like that, right? I mean, it's crazy, and that was just something there. Yeah, so when you're not an adult, the okay, so if you're under 18, it's your parents' responsibility, right? So your parents should put you on their automobile insurance. If not, the liability, if you're out there and you cause damage, it goes towards your parents. But do you think your parents want to pay for that? Be on the hook? Okay. That's why it's so important to be able to have that insurance. Not really, but they love you. Yeah. So that's why you got to pay that money there. Okay. All right. So there's not only automobile insurance. That's the one we kind of think of because there's so many commercials out there about it. But there's also health insurance, disability insurance, life insurance, home and renters, and there's even more types of insurance. So we're just going to briefly go through all of those right now. So insurance, what it is to protect you, right, from financial loss. What you do is you pay what's called a premium, okay? You can pay it monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. And that's what is to cover if you were to, something were to happen during that time. And you got to pay it for each of those different types of things. This is where, when people start talking, right, this is where life gets really expensive, right? It's because you need to control these loss things. A deductible is, so for example, if I were to get in a wreck with my car and it was my fault, I would have to pay, let's say, anywhere from $100 to $1,000 out of pocket before the insurance company would fix my car if it's my fault. If it's somebody else's fault, they're responsible for paying it, unless they don't have insurance, and then it gets all messy with legal stuff, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So there is deductibles on different things, and that is for health insurance, automobile insurance, that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's talk briefly about automobile insurance. There's what's called liability insurance. That's if you were to hit somebody else and it's your fault, right? That would cover you. There's no deductible on that, but they would cover you up to certain limits as you are getting it. Medical payments. So there's a certain amount of medical payments they'll pay as well. Medical payments are rising. And so, like, same thing, when you think about insurance, as insurance prices go up, you got to think of, well, medical prices are going up, to fix vehicles are going up, all of that stuff is going up. Okay. You also have what's called uninsured and underinsured motorist. So if you are hit by somebody that doesn't have enough insurance or has no insurance, you purchase stuff on your policy to protect you from that, because it's going to be hard to get it from money from somebody that doesn't have any money, right? Or they're not even living in this country, or something like that. Okay. Also, collision. If it's your fault, the insurance company will still pay you for your vehicle, but there's usually a deductible that's associated with that. Okay, then automobile policies, there's a whole bunch of factors, anywhere from age, gender, marital status, location of where you live, driving record can affect your driving, okay, of how much how expensive your vehicle is, or your thing is. So actually, young men are going to have a higher premium cost than young women. Okay. So young women are going to get in more accidents, but they're small accidents. Men are going to get in bigger accidents. Okay. So that they kind of justify for that. So if you're looking to get insurance by yourself or get on your parents' policy, if you're a boy, your parents are going to pay more. Okay, next one, health insurance. Okay, health insurance is something that's really important, especially if you get something that's very, that costs a lot of money. You need a surgery, you need something like that. There is a deductible, and there's what's called co-pays that are involved in it. Most of the time, I think this has changed. You can actually stay on your policy to 26 now, if you're still in the household of your parents' policy. But that's something you really want to think about. Okay, always want to have that, because if you have a life-threatening thing, you need that to cover. Okay, the next one's called property insurance. So this would be like homeowners insurance or renters insurance. So your gaming, right? If there's a fire, is that going to be covered? Yes, it would. Okay. After a deductible, okay. If there's a fire and your house burned down, are they going to cover your house? Are they going to give you a place to live? Yes, they're going to do all of that, but you got to make sure it's covered, right? So property insurance is a big deal. The next one's life insurance. So if you start getting a family like I do, I have 3 kids, a wife. If I were to die, right, how is that going to leave my family a situation? Are they going to be able to afford the house we have? Are they going to be able to continue to go to school and do that kind of stuff? I don't know. I wouldn't know that unless I had life insurance that would pay for my debts that I have, for income for a while until my wife could get a job, all that kind of stuff. So once you get in there, life insurance becomes a big thing to help your family out. The next one, any kind of future insurance needs. Okay, so here's another thing. If I were to become disabled, right, would my family be able to to survive, right? Would I have to sell my house, that kind of stuff? So if I become disabled, there's insurance that would pay a monthly allowance to us so we could pay our bills. Also, liability insurance. Okay, so for example, somebody was at my house, um, uh, you know, something happened and my dog bit them, you know, and pretty soon they're rushed to the ER and all that kind of stuff. Insurance, I'd need insurance on my house, liability insurance on my house to cover that. Okay, so it's those little things you really got to think about. And then once you get older, I know this is a long ways away, but you want to protect your assets, what's called estate planning, wills, deaths, all that kind of stuff. So Luke said that happened to one of my ward members. He got bit right in the face. Yeah. So things like that do happen. Okay. And if you're not prepared for it, that you're liable for it. What your dog did, or your trampoline that they were jumping on, or if you have a swimming pool, hot tub, you got to get protected. Okay. So estate planning, going back to that, if you were to die, how are things that you don't want it to go in what's called probate? Probate means that it goes into there and it's held up in the court, and then the court can tax it. There's all kinds of things like that. So you want to have a will, a trust, joint ownership assets, how those are split up as you're going there. So all those things you got to kind of think about as you're going out through life. So as I said before, you need to be finished with modules 9 and 10 by the end of this week. I've zeroed out everything up until then. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Also, nobody's really hit me up on it, but I do have a Friday study hall at 1:15. It'll be on your plan as optional, but if you jump in there and need some help, I can work through some stuff with you. So, all right, I'm going to stop the recording here, but I'm free to answer any questions or anything like that.